my upcoming DIY brides out there that are looking to create their welcome sign with their Cricut, I have got you a tutorial. This is going to be a quick overview, so if you want the finer details, make sure you check out my YouTube. Now, if you've gone on Etsy and looked at some custom signs at this size, you know they start at about $200. So instead of spending that, I'm going to show you how to make it for less than half that cost. Now, typically when it comes to design projects, I usually start in Playground. I always find it to be the quickest and easiest way to come up with a cool design that looks very professional. As you saw on the acrylic sign that I had just made, I made that cool outline venue sketch right from here. Because these are such high quality images, I am actually able to Cricut them. They are not only meant for print. After I have that design, I save it out by upscaling it and removing the background so I can have the PNG transparent file for this. When that's done, I upload my file into Canva and I try to come up with my vision for this acrylic sign. When I'm happy with what it looks like, I like to save this out twice. First time I save it out, it's going to be just a standard PNG file. This is what I'm going to use as my guide when we bring it into Design Space. When I go to save it out a second time, I am going to remove the background on this, save it out as a PNG again, but I'm going to click transparent background. That is the file I'm going to be using as my vinyl cutout. And I upload both of those file types in so I could just set myself up. If you're kind of confused on what I'm talking about, don't worry, I'm going to be doing a full in-depth tutorial on YouTube. For these larger projects, I always recommend going with a 12 by 24 inch mat. It will make it a lot easier on yourself when it comes to these larger cut vinyls. And whenever I do these type of projects, I like to use a removable vinyl. It just makes it much easier to remove it after the event is over so that you can reuse the acrylic again if you would like to do so, or if you want to sell it after the fact. I always seem to have the best results with Oracle vinyl. It's very easy to weed, and also it seems like permanent when it goes on. It's very sturdy on there, so I do recommend it. If you want to know the exact one I purchased, make sure you're checking out my LTK for it. When you're done weeding everything out, grab your transfer tape, cut it down to size, and get it on top of there. Now, my biggest tip when it comes to applying vinyl decals to your acrylic is to map everything out. If you have a lighter color acrylic, you can always use a dry erase marker to mark everything out. But in this case, I first like to eyeball everything with some painter's tape, get it stuck on there, and then I try to get precise with the measurements and the leveler. Using the laser leveler is definitely a game changer because it just reassures me that everything is straight. Now, in order to get your vinyl on there, you want to peel the transfer tape off of the backing. Make sure all of your vinyl is coming up with it. Do it very slowly, and I like to bend the paper back. I know a lot of people like to cut some of the extra off, but honestly, I am just doing this as quickly as possible with just using one hand. Once you flatten the backing, pull your transfer tape back over and stick it to the acrylic. Try to make sure you're not getting any air bubbles with it and try to get it as flat as possible. Having just the slightest portion attached to our acrylic will just assure that this is not going to move on us. Now on the opposite side, I'm going to pull the backing up so the blue tape is no longer holding this down. And with my scraper tool, I'm going to go from the right side and I am just going to push this as I'm pulling that backing up on the left. I always find this method is the smoothest transition as far as not getting any air bubbles underneath my vinyl. And then I'm going to proceed on by doing the same exact thing with the rest of the vinyl decals. After they're all adhered, I just pull off the transfer tape, making sure that the vinyl is completely stuck to the acrylic as I peel back. And we are left with our large welcome acrylic sign ready for our next event. These have easily become my new favorite obsession to make because they elevate your event so well, but we do it at a fraction of the cost. Hopefully this video has given you the motivation to be able to do this on your own. And as always, make sure you're following for more money-saving DIY tips and tricks.